You're obviously passionate out here. What about Trump scares you the most?
I don't like him, period.
Tell me more.
Because he's a racist. He talk about black people. Now I'm saying he want to come and talk to us. For what? So he can win? No.
You think it's not sincere? He's just trying to.
Not. That's something he want to do for the public. That's all. He don't mean that. Go back to where he belongs. Way up there.
He just want to divide the races. He just want to divide the races. That's what he wanted to do. That's his goal. I don't know why he don't go back to another country where he got all his 4 wives from. He's a divider. He wanted to divide these races. He couldn't stand to see the races get together, to come together. But he's not going to be able to stop this because the young white kids don't believe in all that racist stuff.
And
What about the taxes? He won't even show us taxes. They want Hillary to show everything. Where's his tax?
let me ask you about Hillary, because he has a point where he says, to African Americans, you're going to keep voting for Democrats. What have they done for you?
Democrat, always been. Ain't gonna change.
No, I'm saying, but what have they done for you? Youth unemployment among African Americans, very, very big.
I got a job. I work. I live good. So I don't know.
No, but a lot of African Americans don't. You look at teenage unemployment; it's through the roof.
Okay. Well,
Maybe that's the way they choose to live. Maybe that's the way they choose to live. Maybe that's what they want. I worked all my life.
Or maybe it's the policies of Republicans up in the White House when they were there. Think about what really started the decline of some of this. This was the Reagan administration who made a decision to block grant money to the states and take it away from major cities. A major resource that did what? Training programs, job programs for teenage black youth. And now the emphasis is sent it to the state where we have Republican people running it, and there's no revenue coming in to the big cities to make that difference. Anytime you create a vacuum, you create a problem. And this problem in terms of employment for youth in major cities is laid right at the feet and the legacy of Ronald Reagan and his people who followed behind him, because that's what happened back in the 80s.
And Reagan also crushed the unions. He started the offshoring of trade.
That's another wonderful thing. Think about that. We talk about income inequality, and then we look at when it started, and at the same time we look at what the history was in terms of public policy with relates to unions. So you take Reagan, you suppress the unions, wages go down, and then you lay it on the backs of Democrats? No, it's part of that whole ideology of trickle down. And Trump himself is a trickle-down theologist, and we don't need him, and we don't need any of them else in the State House.
You think
coming out here with us blacks.
No question.
60-some days before the election.
Not only that, he's not coming down here for us. He's coming down to try to appeal to the middle-class white folk who are taking a look at him. But they're not going to be fooled. They understand he's an actor, and that's all he is.
What do you think? When I was in Wisconsin a few months ago, I talked to an African American supporter of his, and he said his successful business record. He's created a lot of jobs. You don't think that might apply to your community?
Again, his business record is suspect, but he's a rich man. And some of us will be fooled because we think that a rich person has good sense. But then all we got to do is look at time and time where wealthy people, not talking about the Kennedys, not talking about Roosevelt, have came into positions of power, and all they've done is squoze the middle class and poor working folk.
Right. And let me ask you, you look at the African Americans, police brutality, things like that, and then you have Donald Trump using terms like law and order candidate and all of his coded language. If he was president, what do you see in terms of the epidemic of brutality?
Well, again, more than the epidemic of brutality, what that is that's the dog whistle. Is what, think about, Nixon used in terms of this whole cry for the silent majority, law and order. The law we need is to recognize we need to take the money from the top and push some of it down. That would solve tons of problems that we have in America.
But is Hillary Clinton the answer?
She is the best answer for the moment, okay? That's not to say that anybody who is in the elite are going to pick up the middle class and lift them all the way up. But she is more sympathetic to the issues of working and poor folk than Donald Trump has ever been.
Even though her husband put more black people in jail than any other president? And she supported it.
You know what's ironic? It was an ill-conceived policy. The Black Caucus folks, the majority of them supported the crime bill. The reality is we're taking a look at it. It didn't work. It created problems of its own. And she's saying, guess what? We're going to rectify that. Trump's not talking about addressing it. Right. So number one, we all make mistakes on the journey of life. But when we're wise, we correct them. Now, you show me where Trump, who says, I don't apologize, and I have some regrets, but can't identify what they are, there's a world of difference. World of difference. So, yeah, I'm for Hillary. I'm an African-American. And hey, again, that's the other thing. Think about it. He looks at black folk as if they're monolithic, right? He says how your schools are bad, you don't get shot. Well, let's go ahead. Let's see here.
He also infamously, when he was speaking to a crowd, said, look at my African-American over there.
Exactly. But I'm saying he doesn't have enough wisdom to even get out of the stereotype and deal with the reality is. These ladies say they're doing well, okay? I have a son and a daughter who went to Detroit public schools. One's an engineer at General Motors. Both of them went through U of M. Both of them have grad degrees. And guess what? It happened here in the city of Detroit. And so opportunity exists. We just need a little help. Not a handout, but help. We need folks to recognize that when the disinvestment happened in this community, that there's a consequences. And that consequences says jobs flee and people are left. Well, we think Hillary, with recognition of the error of the NAFTA, the error of the crime bill, is the person to rectify it.
Can I get your first and last name, sir?
My name's Al Garrett.
How do you spell your last name?
Garrett. By the way, he's also running for judge.
You're running for judge?
No, my son.
Oh, your son?
Yeah.
Who's he running against?
Well,
Give him a plug.
He's running for 36th District Court, 8 incumbents. He's challenging the incumbents.
All right. Good luck, man.